A very warm welcome to Law and Life. I'm Shashank Mishra here with the Senior Advocate of Supreme Court of India, Sudh Markandeji. This is an step by Senior Counsel to discuss on legal aware about ongoing legal issues, laws, statutes, and other associated things. Likewise, today we will be discussing on Gilgit Baltistan. So on this subject, my first question is today's discourse is the Gilgit Baltistan Order 2018, which was promulgated by the government of Pakistan in 2018. Our viewers may be quite unfamiliar with many aspects of this subject. Kindly tell our audience about the geographical location of Gilgit-Baltistan. Give necessary historical background before coming to its provision and significance. From here, sir, you can continue.
Yes, Shashank, but
Yes, sir.
in that case, we'll have to do this topic in two parts. First
Okay, sir.
part will deal with the geographical and historical background,
Yes, sir.
and second part will discuss in outline the provisions of the Gilgit-Baltistan Order 2018. I will enumerate all the provisions in outline, of course, because it runs into so many sections. It's like an act of parliament, some kind of ordinance, you can say, by the
Yes, sir.
government of Pakistan, which is in control of this area since 1947. So then we'll discuss its significance of each part and particularly overall. So let us start with the geography of this area.
Of course,
Gilgit
sir.
Baltistan has a huge area of more than 72,000 square kilometers. That is equivalent to more than 28,000 miles, square miles. Now, Gilgit Baltistan lies roughly in the north of what is presently, our two union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. It has a population of 12.2 lakhs, as in 2013. Uh, it formed part of the state of Jammu and Kashmir as a constitutional entity, which lawfully acceded to the dominion of India as per the provisions of the India Independence Act 1947, which was passed by the British Parliament. The state of Jammu and Kashmir, which acceded to India, also consisted of Aksai Chin, now under the Chinese occupation, thanks to the perception and inertia of the then Prime Minister, who is on record saying that it's of no value, not a blade of grass grows there. Now, see, sovereignty is not about the growth or otherwise of any
Yes,
blade
sir.
of grass. Sovereignty is sovereignty. It has to be exercised over the territories which form part of your country. Be that as it may, Gilgit Baltistan borders Pakistan in the west, Afghanistan towards the northwest, China in the northeast, and the so called Azad Kashmir towards the west. We call it, POK, Pakistan Occupied Kashmir. So that is, it must be borne in mind that area is different than Gilgit Baltistan.
Yes, sir. Sir, now let us know the history as to how India lost such a valuable part of our country.
So in the wake of Second World War, there is some issue. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So what do we do?
So we can restart, sir, from this question. सर यहीं से फिर स्टार्ट कर देते हैं सर.
अच्छा, तो यहीं से स्टार्ट करेंगे ना, जहां
हाँ
से
सर.
वेयर ले.
हाँ सर, ये सेकंड क्वेश्चन से.
हाँ, कुछ रिजॉल्व हो गया।
अच्छा सर,
You
स्टार्ट
can
करें?
start. हाँ,
ओके
या
सर। ओके सर। सर फिर से सेकंड क्वेश्चन सर फिर से पूछ रहे हैं।
या
सर लेट अस नो द हिस्ट्री एज टू हाउ इंडिया लॉस्ट सच अ वैल्यूएबल पार्ट ऑफ आवर कंट्री सर।
So we'll have to go back a little in the history. In the wake
यस
of
सर।
Second World War in 1935, the British government had taken the entire Gilgit-Baltistan area, which was then called, Gilgit Agency, from the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir on a lease for a period of, I think, 50 years or 60 years. I'm not very sure. There
यस सर।
used to be a governor of the state of Jammu and Kashmir stationed uh, in Gilgit. Gilgit is a town in this area. A special force of the British government called the Gilgit Scouts was garrisoned there under the direct command of the British officers. In 1947, the British Parliament, as you know, passed the India Independence Act 1947. That act, partitioned India, that is British ruled India, into two dominions of India and Pakistan with effect from 15th of August 1947. In the wake of these constitutional changes, the British paramountcy over the native states ceased. So its effect was that they were free to join either of the two dominions or remain free. Now, what has happened is that the British officers of the Gilgit Scouts were directly under the charge of the British officers of Pakistani army, that is army of the newly created Dominion of Pakistan. So this
यस
is
सर।
the catch. In the meanwhile, the Viceroy Lord Louis Mountbatten terminated the lease of Gilgit Agency area, which it had taken from the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And Maharaja was still, vacillating as to whether he should remain free or join one of the two dominions. Uh, so, taking advantage of this uncertainty, on 22nd October 1947, uh, Pakistan let loose into the state of Jammu and Kashmir uh, tribals, Pashtun tribals,
यस सर।
and other tribals, and remnants of former British army which were disbanded. So they were all trained and let loose into the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So this precipitated the Maharaja to accede to the dominion of India because he had to save his state and his subjects. So uh, now what happened that after such succession on 1st of November 1947, the British officer in charge of Gilgit Scouts, Major William Brown, on the direction of the British officers of the Pakistani army, engineered a mutiny and arrested Brigadier Ghansara Singh, who was the governor of Gilgit Baltistan. Uh, our army, was still liberating the various areas of the state of Jammu and Kashmir from the control of the tribals. It was on great offensive and it could have easily taken over the area called Gilgit Baltistan. But what had happened that India approached the United Nations on 1st of January 1948 and uh, agreed to ceasefire. So because of the ceasefire, our army could not liberate Gilgit Baltistan. Otherwise, we would have easily liberated because we were on the offensive and we were liberating various areas which were in occupation of those tribals.
डेफिनेटली सर वी विल।
Now, there is one significant feature of this whole case, and that is that so far, Pakistan always clamors about the plebiscite. But the condition precedent to the plebiscite was vacating the areas which were under the occupation of Pakistan. So this it has never done. So that is the significant part, that Security Council's resolution, which asked Pakistan to withdraw from the areas of Jammu and Kashmir which it had occupied, has not been complied with to date, even to this date, from 1948 up to now. They have not complied with that part of the Security Council resolution. That is how Gilgit Baltistan is still out of India's hands.
Sir, can you tell us what happened after that, sir?
The Pakistani army took full control of the of Gilgit Baltistan and ruled it with iron hand, very repressively. And in that connection, what they did is that they introduced, they kind of uh, those laws were already there, but they extended to these areas. These areas were formerly called by the Pakistan as northern areas or federal administered territory, FATA, and it is ever since then, being ruled by the Ministry of Kashmir Affairs of Pakistan. Uh, a number of framework orders, were tried. In 1969, Northern Areas Advisory Council was set up. In 1974, Northern Areas Council replaced the Northern Area Advisory Council. And in that year, that is in the year 1974, the State Subjects Order was repealed, or I mean, it ceased to have effect in that area. It afforded, protection to the local people from not being, there were two issues in this. Uh, that that order called State Subjects Order, which was from the time of the Maharaja's rule, uh, did not allow uh, non-state subjects, that is, those who were not subjects of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, from two areas. One, in the public services, and secondly, in acquiring land. So now, Pakistan opened up the, by repealing this state subjects order. The
Yes,
effect
sir.
was that Pakistanis could now go and buy lands there and also be in the service of uh, public service of that area. So this proved to be very unpopular because the local people were deprived of their jobs in the government, and also because large scale migration took place from Pakistan to Gilgit Baltistan. Uh, a very large scale and ethnic changes happened into this Gilgit Baltistan. It was a Shia majority area, and now it became a Sunni dominated area, and this was particularly accentuated during the rule of General Ziaul Haq. It led to a lot of ethnic clashes and also progressively sporadic anti-Pakistani unrest, which is still continuing. It has accentuated in recent years. Uh, but in 1988, there happened a very ugly incident called the Gilgit massacre. It was
Yes, sir.
promoted by the Saudi terrorist fugitive Osama bin Laden and Pakistani generals Ziaul Haq, Parvez Musharraf, Mirza Aslam Beg, etc. A very large number of Shias were killed by Sunni terrorists. In 1994, Pakistan's Ministry of Kashmir Affairs conceptualized a legal framework order to act as some kind of constitution of that area.
So how did Gilgit versus Baltistan came to the separated from the so-called Azad Kashmir?
Yeah, very good question. Successive governments in Pakistan have put forth the myth of something called, Karachi Agreement. It is alleged that there was an agreement between the governments of Pakistan and the so-called Azad Kashmir to justify this separation of Gilgit Baltistan from POK. That is, they call it Azad Kashmir, Government of Azad Kashmir. So there was an agreement that these two areas should be separated. But what has happened that first president of the so-called Azad Kashmir had disowned his signature on the so-called Kashmir agreement, and it led to a very embarrassing situation for Pakistan, for the government of Pakistan. And uh, it also led to the filing of a case before the Supreme Court of Pakistan called Al Jihad Foundation versus Federation of Pakistan that has been decided on 28th May 1999. Now, I may tell our viewers that, uh, you can access this judgment. Sometimes, you can, the uh, you have access to
Yes, sir.
the
We can. Yes, sir.
website. Sometimes you don't have.
Yes, sir.
The moment I think some mechanism is there. The moment they come to know that this query or whatever, or someone is opening from India or such, then the website is barred
Yes,
or
sir.
whatever. This is my experience, but it's only personal experience.
Yes, sir.
So but sometimes, if you like, you can access, and you will find Al Jihad Foundation and Federation of Pakistan decided on 28th of May 1999.
Then just briefly tell us more about Al Jihad Foundation case.
So from a reading of the judgment, it appeared to me that the uh, aim of Al Jihad Foundation and the government of Pakistan seemed to be one and the same. They wanted to legitimize the so-called Karachi Agreement, and second aim was to integrate, Gilgit Baltistan with Pakistan. So this was achieved by the judgment of 28th May 1999 because some directions were issued pursuant to which uh, in 2009, that is 10 years after the judgment, an order called Gilgit Baltistan Empowerment and Self-Governance Order was promulgated by the then President of Pakistan, Mr. Asif Ali Zardari. But there was neither any empowerment of the people of Gilgit Baltistan nor any self governance. Behind the facade of attractive words, there was no parting of even a fraction of power to the people of Gilgit Baltistan in administering their own area. So, this 2009 order uh, was is proving to be very, very unpopular with the local population. It brought lot of unrest, and under this order, the real power, is concentrated in the hands of a single person, that is Prime Minister of Pakistan. He doesn't take oath under that order. He is not accountable even to the government of even
Yes,
to
sir.
the Parliament of Pakistan. He is not accountable to the local populace. He is not accountable to anyone. So the crux of the whole matter is that the entire power is concentrated in the hands of one single person, that is the Prime Minister of Pakistan for the time being. So he chairs the what is called the Gilgit Baltistan Council, and he also controls all the affairs. You will be shocked to know that even judicial appointments are made by the Prime Minister of Pakistan.
Yes, sir. It's
So
new.
the people of Gilgit Baltistan were very disappointed with 2009 order, and it led to lot of unrest in that area. Uh, Probably I would like to tell, the many people might be knowing
Yes, sir.
today, everyone is very well informed. But even then, I may say that there is a very active diaspora, of Gilgit Baltistan. A lot of people have gone abroad, so they are exposed to different cultures and they have become broad-minded and they are not, brainwashed as they would otherwise be in Pakistan. And
Yes, sir.
so, because of the diaspora, there are even voices advocating joining India, and those voices are increasing.
Yes, sir. So what about Gilgit Baltistan order of 2018?
Yes, we'll discuss it in part two.
Of course, sir.
In
So we will see you tomorrow in the same.
yes, in part two we'll discuss in outline what the and also its implications.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for your time, sir. We will see you tomorrow.
There is absolutely no change in the same situation. The Prime Minister of Pakistan is even more powerful under 2018 order than he was under 2009 order. So
Yes,
we'll
sir.
discuss it in our next episode.
Definitely, sir. We will see you tomorrow, sir, in the same video.